Hi guys, my name is Sooz Kempner, and this is my face. So after 3, I'm going to get you all to go, hello Sooz. 1, 2, 3.
Hello Sooz.
Hi. Great, we're no longer anonymous. We all know each other. So, this is the great unknown. Now, the great unknown can refer to many things. It can refer to the great expanse and infinite that is outer space. It can refer to the great miles of ocean that no human has ever been to, and where they keep finding fish that look like they are from outer space. It can also refer to moving to a new town, starting a new job. The great unknown can even refer to a first date. But that's not what the great unknown means to me. Outer space, I have no interest in going up there. I'd rather eat a spider. And for context, I am an arachnophobe. I just thought I needed to point out in case you thought I meant, I wouldn't mind going to space, but eating a spider, yum, yum, yum. No, that's not what I meant. I don't want to go in the ocean because I've seen Finding Nemo, and Nemo is a fish, and he got lost. Sooz Kempner does not stand a chance down there. Oh, and as for the great unknown, that is going on a first date, dating sounds terrifying. Haha, count me out. I'll be alone forever. Much better. Okay, so to me, the great unknown is what I call every time I put myself out there on social media. Okay, so I tweet a lot. I'm a real Twitter guy, you could say. And I tweet to see what the reaction will be, what I will get back. Now, sometimes you get nothing back. And when that happens to me, I stare at the wall miserably for hours on end and question every choice I've ever made. Sometimes you get a couple of likes or retweets, but occasionally you get something else. You get negative feedback. And when that happens, I'm not talking about somebody replying with a yawn at one of my zingers or with a poo emoji. I'm talking about people insulting family members, telling me to commit suicide, even threatening rape or murder just because they don't like a picture I tweeted or a political opinion. Now, Twitter offers its users anonymity, okay? When you join Twitter, your default picture is an egg, and you can choose any name you like. So with that amount of anonymity, users can be as mysterious as they choose to be. And that can make things pretty difficult. I'm going to tell you about how I became a stand-up comedian. So it started 7 years ago. I thought, I want to give it a go, and I was hooked. And now I've been doing it for 7 years. And it's going really well, guys. I think that possibly in the next 10 years, I might even be able to move out of my mum's house. So, dream big. Now, 3 years ago, my younger brother decided that he would also have a go at doing stand-up comedy. And I thought, well, he's got a long road ahead of him. But within a year, he already had a sold-out show at the Edinburgh Fringe. He then toured that show around the UK. He's toured Canada with it. He's toured America with it. And at the end of last year, he got his own TV show. And we're all really pleased for him. Okay. I do have a point. This isn't just a breakdown, okay? So he was in this TV show, which was named after him. I'm not going to give you his name. He doesn't need any more publicity than he already has. But I got a line in this TV show, okay? I got a line. That's probably where you will recognize me from. I can see. Don't do the line, Sooz. Guys, come on, that's not what I'm here for. Sooz, do the line. All right, all right. It's like a wall of sound. Okay. 3-piece chicken meal, chips and a Coke, mate. That round of applause was what I would describe as patronizing, but thanks anyway. So yeah, that was my line. And when a new TV show airs, Twitter is this unique phenomenon of instant feedback. People can't help themselves. Within 5 minutes of a new TV show airing, people have taken to Twitter with their knee-jerk reactions to the show. I like the show, I don't like the show. And this happened to my brother. People were tweeting at him, I like the show or I don't like the show. This show is funny or this show is not funny. All the ones saying it wasn't funny were me. So no, it's not true. Anonymous people telling him that they didn't like the show. Now, I thought I was safe because my screen time totaled 9 seconds. I thought I was safe from any Twitter trolls, okay? But I was wrong. And it really brought to mind the difference in being on Twitter as a man and being on Twitter as a woman. See, my brother got, this show is funny or this show is not funny. I got one lone guy who found me, who wrote to me, sorry, but you're ugly. I just wrote back, apology accepted. I thought I was safe, but I wasn't. And it amazed me that on Twitter, you can be on screen for 9 seconds and someone will seek you out who is anonymous and tell you how you look to them, even though it's completely unimportant, okay? And I know that what I've received, and I have received my fair share, is just a drop in the ocean compared to what some people receive. Historian Mary Beard, for example, regularly receives terrible abuse for the way that she looks, okay? This woman is a historian. She makes her living from knowing more about history than the people watching the show, and then putting it out there in an engaging and witty way. And yet she receives constant abuse about the way she looks and whether or not she deserves to die because of it. Now, this TEDx talk will go online. I know this. And I know from experience that should it receive more than a couple of hundred views, and Lord knows that I hope it does. I am a fame-hungry monster. I know that in amongst the comments, there will be at least one iteration of, ugh, she's gross, and also possibly, I'd still do her. I find both equally insulting, by the way, just to clarify. So I know that this happens because it's happened to me numerous times. People can't help themselves. Last year, for example, someone on Twitter whose picture was Jean-Luc Picard from Star Trek TNG, which stands for the Next Generation. I'm a nerd. His name was Captain Picard 69 on Twitter, and he told me at Sooz UK, "You're an advert for a burqa." Now, I read that and went, oh, right, is that because I've got lovely eyes? But guys, I should point out that it's not the burqa that lets you see the eyes. That's actually the niqab. So if you have enjoyed that and I said it, we are all just showing our ignorance, okay? Right, now, I also received last year from someone who went by the name of Adele's biggest fan XOXO, and their picture was of Adele. I don't think it was actually Adele, because I don't think Adele would describe herself as her own biggest fan. That would be the height of arrogance. They said to me, "You look like a slutty horse with big tits." Now, that was quite a weird one to receive, because it was rubbish trolling, because I took it as a massive compliment. I saw that and I was like, hey, thanks. And I was like, hang on a minute, I think that was meant to be an insult. Now, my own experience of trolling, it's easy to just make it a bit of fun. But I am just one in a long line. It brought to mind what happened to Monica Lewinsky, who memorably last year talked about how she was essentially the very first victim of cyberbullying. Her biggest crime, as she put it, was falling in love with her boss. And for that, she became the world's favorite punchline. Not for days or weeks or months, but for years. She talked about how it caused her terrible depression, how she even felt suicidal at times, all because anonymous people on the internet and in the press got their kicks from having a go at a woman because she had slept with a married man. Where was his punishment? Okay? Where were the endless jokes about him? She talks now, even 2 decades on, about how she finds it difficult to trust people, all because some people got their kicks from being anonymous 20 years ago. And there was no rule book there. There was no rule book because it had never happened to anyone before. The fact that now, in 2016, she is a feminist activist against cyberbullying is testament to her strong will, which is probably the reason she became a White House intern in the first place. Just saying. Now, these trolls online with their pictures of an egg and their crazy names that have no relation to who they actually are, strip them of that, give them a real name and put their actual face on Twitter, and suddenly they're a human being. Would they still troll? Would they still say these things to people face to face? Well, this was explored last year when broadcaster and journalist Owen Jones, who frequently receives terrible trolling for being a strident lefty, he met one of his trolls. He actually met one of his Twitter trolls. I should point out that it's pretty brave of this troll to agree to meet him. The second that he did, this guy who had a human face and his real name was personable and reasonable, and he almost immediately admitted that he would never say any of those things in person and didn't really believe them anyway. He even admitted that his wife is Owen Jones's biggest fan. I don't know, maybe these Twitter trolls are just jealous. At the end of the meeting, he said to Owen Jones, "So, are you going to unblock me now?" I don't know, maybe Twitter is just awash with these poor trolls who have to remain anonymous while they crave attention. Maybe it's easier for me because I have been trolled in real life before I was ever trolled on the internet. My first ever professional job was as a Christina Aguilera tribute act. Yeah, I'll prove it. Now, when you've been in Clubber's Paradise, Ayia Napa, for an entire season, dressed like Christina Aguilera, oh yes, yellow and black PVC chaps. I did not look like Christina Aguilera, I looked like a fireman prostitute. When you've had all that, and you've faced hordes of the Brits abroad inebriated, suddenly a few misogynists on Twitter aren't so bad. The guy who told me that my nose was the model for Concorde, that's just great material, and actually kind of an astute observation, although I was not born in 1966, as we've pointed out. That guy, fine, whatever. But it still does upset me, okay? Because these people don't know me. They don't know that I shrug it off. They don't know that if they actually wanted to upset me, what they should say is, "I saw your ex-boyfriend with a girl who looked just like you, except she had loads of money and her own place, and she had more than one line in her brother's TV show." They don't know that that's what they would have to say to upset me. So it does upset me because they don't know me, and they don't know that I'm not someone who's extremely vulnerable, someone who could be hurt by these things. Because trolling can be incredibly damaging. Just because some anonymous guy wants to get his kicks from having a go at the woman on the internet, that can really cause people to take their own lives. It has happened. So, what's the solution? Well, I don't know. I'd love to tell you that I have a solution. I'd love to tell you that the message of this talk is sticks and stones can break your bones, but Twitter trolls should never hurt you. But I can't, because it does hurt people. So instead, I'm just going to be glad that I have this platform to stand up for people who maybe feel like they cannot stand up for themselves. And also, I'm just going to be glad that I and all of you don't feel the need to remain anonymous. I don't need to hide behind a picture of an egg. This is Sooz Kempner, a slutty horse with big tits, signing off.